So recently I did some changes using a Python library called MatPlotLib, which is basically graphs and charts using data. And my program has a lot of data. There's maybe 3 different types of JSON files, at least. And I was able to visualize them. So there's several areas that I applied this MatPlotLib chart graph visualization. There's the StatsScreen, TempoScreen, SettingsScreen, OpenGP5 Screen. So I'll just go through a little bit of that, and starting off in the order that I implemented them. First up is the tempo. So there's this graph here. This is called the tempo distribution current and tempo over time current. The word current means, current settings, right? This is the current settings without any tempo modifications from the program, just using the tempo and from the Guitar Pro 5 file itself. So we could see we have over 175 measures and 120 BPM. And then you can see the fluctuation of the tempo, going from 120 down to 90, back and forth, sometimes even to 70 tempo. But then from there, when you apply the dynamic tempo, so the dynamic tempo is based on the JSON's NoteLogs. So when I plug my guitar in, every time I play a song, it saves a NoteLog, a hit and miss in each measure and note. And the dynamic tempo adjusts the tempo based on those playthroughs. And then you come back here to the visualize and you apply the dynamic tempo, and there's a initial versus the current. So the current from last time is now the initial, because I updated the tempo. Now the current is updated. So we're comparing the current versus the initial here. So now with the current, I'm seeing roughly about 120 measures of around 148 BPM compared to before. And we're also seeing more fluctuation of the tempo between measures. A lot more fluctuation between the measures. Okay, so those are 4 charts that are in the tempo screen. Next up, we go to the stats screen and pick up any stats. Go to the most recent. Go to the visualize button. And this is a score chart showing the current score versus the max score and compared to the previous 2. So this current stats file is March 3rd. There's a previous and next button. You could switch between the dates. So if I hit previous, I go to February 27th. So the max score, you may notice my current score is higher than my max, because right now I have my max as my total note count, but there is bonus points applied based on the note length, based on the streak. So faster notes get more score because they're more difficult, and the more streak I have, there's a multiplier to how many points I get for how long the streak occurs, how many notes are in a streak. Then we have accuracy comparison. I'm thinking of changing the max 100 to my overall recorded max. But for now, the max is 100, of course. And you can see my current accuracy versus the previous 2 playthroughs. And if I hit the previous button, then we could go cycle through the playthroughs. So then we hit visualize again. We go to the tempo comparison. So we can see that the default max tempo of the song is 148. And right now the average tempo is 119. We can see each playthrough, the dynamic tempo is incrementing it more because I'm hitting more notes. And then we go again, visualize button. We can see the accuracy per measure. You could see, this one's a little bit hard to read, but you could see for the most part, like, a lot of the time I get near 100% accuracy. Sometimes I get 80%, and you can see measure is 40. Our measure is 80 through 100, maybe I get a little slower. But then the next one may be easier to read. You can see accuracy over time in relation to the measures. Starts around 80, then it goes down to 75 or so, then it stays in the 80 range the whole time. Then the next visualized chart here is the hit-miss distribution by note length. So I have eights, quarters, dotted, whatever. Hits and miss. I had to do the rotated 90 degrees text, otherwise it overlaps. Then we can see timing analysis. I just changed the timing logic right now, so I'm trying to fix that because right now all my notes are registered as late. 90% anyways. Then next up we have accuracy by tempo. You can see when it goes to around 130, my tempo dropped, or my accuracy dropped, and then went back up, then it dropped and went back up. And that's it for the charts for the stats. And then we go back and we go to settings and we visualize. And on settings, we have average frequency chart for song notes. The bigger the circle means the more often that's played. This is the average frequency because the frequency could fluctuate if the string and fret is involved in either a single note or a chord. But you can see the frequency peaks at 1,000. And there's a lot of higher first string frets going on. And we hit the visualize button again. We got a pie chart of all the note lengths for the song. So Mountain Jam is primarily 60% eighth notes, 11% quarter notes, and less than 10% of everything else. Hit visualize again. Now we see the note effects. We can see 75% of the song is normal note effects. 10% is bends and 10% is hammer-on pull-offs. 3% staccatos and 3% slides. We hit visualize again. We can see the note types. This song is 100% single notes. There is no chord. And then we go to the next one. We can see the number of notes per measure. It seems to like an average of 8 for the most part. There's one measure that has up to around 12, or 2 measures. And some measures have 4 or less, but that's more rare. Then next up, we go to the time series of notes. Let's see. So like 100 seconds in, you have roughly around 200 notes. 200 seconds in, you have around 500 or so, 450 maybe. And next up, we have the histogram of note durations. So the number of notes, we have roughly 800 notes that are less than 0.5 duration in seconds. So that's fast. Next up, well, that's it for the settings screen. Up next, we have the OpenGP5 screen. And these charts depend on where I'm at in the menu. There's 3 layers. Right now, I'm on the tuning menu. You click a tuning, you go to the artist menu. You click an artist, then they have songs, or they have another folder. In my case, my folder has more folders than the songs are in the folders. Other artists just have songs in their folders without another folder. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to hit visualize, and we're going to see tuning times played. You can see I played E standard 60% of the time, drop C 30%. Then you can see the average play time. You can see drop D, I played 30% average the most, and drop C, I played 25% average of the song. Well, that's another thing to get into. But you can see total play time. E standard, I have about 50%. Drop C, I have about 40%. E flat, about 15%. And then you go into the tuning, same thing. But now it's for artists. So artist times played, I played at Allman Brothers Band about 50%, and I played my own about 20%. And everything else is about less than 10. Let me go to the artist average playtime. You can see I played Jerry C about 16. This is like the average playtime in correlation. Like how long do I play a song before I stop it? So like Jerry C, I played had the most average playtime. Cannon Rock. And then we go to the artist total playtime. You can see I have Allman Brothers Band, 30%, most of my playtime, and followed by myself, about 25%. And the same thing if you go into the artist folder, it goes by song now. Songs time played. I played Blue Sky about 90% of the time. Then you can go to songs average playtime. You can see I played Elizabeth Reed. My average playtime is about 40% of compared to the others. This is maybe easy to misinterpret the average. Songs total playtime I played about Blue Sky for almost 50% of the time. Something like that. So yeah, that was a quick run through of all the charts. It took a lot of time. There's a lot of data. And it's kind of fun to see. So like if I go to Kill Switch Engage, you can see I played Breathe Life 30% of the time. Average playtime is Eye of the Storm, has the most. And my total playtime is Breathe Life. This is all dynamic client-side data, nothing passing to the server yet. Which reminds me I should sync. I think I didn't upload files last time. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. I kind of want to see it. So this session, I'm going to test the note accuracy. I made a change. Try to get it to not be late timing. So I'm thinking E flat again with my vintage V100 lemon drop. So we go to E flat, go to Thin Lizzy, we go to the stats. Played Emerald about 60% of the time. I thought I would play Cowboy Song more. Wow. I thought I played Cowboy Song the most. Average playtime, Soldier of Fortune. Oh, Waiting for an Alibi is really close to number one. So total playtime. Wow, Emerald, really? I'm shocked. I thought it was Cowboy. Okay, let's go to the playthrough Emerald with stats. 86% accuracy. Pretty good. Average tempo 87. Okay, one more than the previous playthroughs. Accuracy fluctuates.